Have you ever stopped to watch a tiny ant tirelessly carrying a crumb much bigger than itself, and wondered, how does this little creature even work? Where are its muscles, its heart, its brain? And maybe the most puzzling question of all, how does it breathe? If you look closely, you won't see a tiny chest rising and falling. So, do ants have lungs? The answer is a fascinating no. Ants, along with most other insects, have a completely different and incredibly efficient system for getting the oxygen they need. It's a world away from how we mammals breathe, and today we're going to dive deep into the miniature world of ant anatomy to uncover this amazing biological secret. Get ready to have your mind blown by the ingenuity of nature. So, if there are no lungs, what's the alternative? Instead of a single, centralized respiratory system like ours, ants have a decentralized network of tubes called trachea. Think of it like a subway system for air, branching throughout their entire body. This intricate network starts at the surface of their exoskeleton with a series of small openings called spiracles. You can imagine these spiracles as tiny portholes or vents lined up along the sides of the ant's thorax and abdomen. There are usually about 10 pairs of them. These spiracles are the gateways for air to enter the ant's body. What's really clever is that these spiracles have little valves. Once the air passes through the spiracles, it enters the main tracheal tubes. These are the major highways of the ant's respiratory system. From these main tubes, smaller and smaller branches, called tracheos, spread out, reaching deep into every part of the ant's body. They extend to the muscles, the brain, the gut, even down to the individual cells. This is the key difference between their system and ours. But ants don't need this. Their tracheal system delivers oxygen directly to the tissues that need it. The air literally diffuses from the ends of these tiny tracheoles straight into the cells. This direct delivery method is incredibly efficient for a small organism. There's no middleman, no circulatory system needed for gas exchange. It's like having a dedicated air duct leading directly to every room in your house instead of a central ventilation system. This is one of the reasons ants can be so energetic and strong for their size. Their muscles are getting a constant, direct supply of oxygen to fuel their activities. It also explains why ant blood, or what we call hemolymph, is different from ours. It's typically a clear or yellowish fluid because it doesn't contain red blood cells or hemoglobin. Its main job is to transport nutrients and hormones and to help with the immune response, not to carry oxygen. The tracheal system handles that all by itself. So you might be wondering, does an ant just passively let air drift in? Not exactly. While simple diffusion works for very small, inactive insects, an active ant needs a more dynamic process. Ants can actually breathe in a way. They use their abdominal muscles to help pump air through their tracheal system. By contracting and expanding their abdomen, they can create pressure changes that push old air, rich in carbon dioxide, out of the spiracles and pull fresh, oxygen-rich air in. If you ever get a chance to observe an ant at rest, you might notice this subtle pulsing or pumping motion in its abdomen. This process becomes even more important when the ant is working hard, like when it's lifting something heavy or running away from a predator. Its metabolic rate skyrockets, and it needs more oxygen, so it starts pumping its abdomen more vigorously. The efficiency of the tracheal system is what allows insects to thrive in almost every environment on Earth. It's lightweight and doesn't require a complex, energy-hungry circulatory system for gas transport. However, it also imposes a size limit. As an organism gets bigger, the distance from the spiracles to the innermost cells increases. A tracheal system just wouldn't be efficient enough to supply oxygen to the core of a large body. The air would never make it to the center. This is the leading theory for why we do see giant ants, the size of dogs, roaming around. The physics of gas diffusion simply wouldn't allow it. The largest insects in Earth's history existed millions of years ago, during a time when the atmosphere had a much higher oxygen concentration, which would have made this type of breathing more effective over larger distances. Having multiple entry points for air all along your body is a huge advantage. Contrast that with us. If our one airway, our trachea, gets blocked, it's an immediate life-threatening emergency. The ant's decentralized system provides a level of redundancy that is perfect for its rough-and-tumble lifestyle. Constantly navigating through soil, leaf litter, and other complex environments. If an ant falls into water, it can close its spiracles and survive for a surprisingly long time on the oxygen already trapped within its tracheal system. These spiracles lead to a system of internal tubes called trachea, which branch out into smaller tracheos that deliver oxygen directly to every cell. It's a perfect example of how evolution crafts unique solutions to the fundamental problems of life.